A moral issue, a Dvar Torah for Parashat Bereishit. There's no classroom, at least in my experience, in which you don't at one point or another hear the cry, "But it's not fair!" And if we seek justice and fairness in the classroom, then when it comes to the verses in the Torah, all the more so. Which leads me to this week's discussion. After eating from the tree of knowledge, punishments are given to the serpent, the woman, and the man, which seems reasonable. They've all transgressed in some form or other. The problem is that there's another punished, the land. And to Adam he said, "Cursed is a land for you." And the question is, why punish the ground because of human actions? Rashi answers this question in two places and in two different ways. In my opinion, both interpretations have Drash elements. The first explanation is taught before the Torah tells us about human sin. When the Torah describes the creation of the tree on the third day, the Midrash, followed by Rashi, points out a difference between the commandment, "Let the land yield a fruit tree which bears fruit," and the result, trees which bear fruit. Rashi explains, "Fruit tree, let the taste of the tree be as the taste of the fruit." The land, however, did not do so, but grew trees that bear fruit, and not fruit trees. Therefore, she was cursed when the man was cursed. A brief analysis of Rashi's commentary shows that there are two things that seem to bother him. One, the asymmetry between the commandment verse and the execution verse, and two, in my opinion, a moral difficulty with punishing the land for human actions. This commentary answers both these problems by pointing out the land's sin and claiming that now is the time to punish it. Rabbi Chaim Ben Attar in his commentary Orach Chaim takes this commentary one step further and explains that without the earth's sin, man would not have sinned, because then the fact that the taste of the tree and the fruit were equal would not be unique to the tree of knowledge. If all the garden trees had made the taste of the tree as the taste of the fruit, man would have been careful to tell Eve that she wasn't to eat from the tree, and she too would not have reached the hand to the tree before. Nor would she be amazed that the taste of the tree was similar to the fruit, since this would be no different from the rest of the garden trees. For this Hashem has cursed the earth, for it was the cause for all to be cursed. Rashi's second commentary answers the question a bit differently. The land bears responsibility for human sins, since after all, she gave birth to him. It's like people are upset at parents who don't educate their children properly. I mean, look what happened to him. I find these two answers to have much in common. Both are drashot, both prefer to treat the ground as more than an inanimate object, and both are surprising enough to remain in the memory of the learner for a long time. In my opinion, a very important feature of an effective Midrash. But I'd like to offer another commentary brought by Rabbi Chizkiah bar Manoach. The word ba'avurecha in the sentence arura ha'adama ba'avurecha doesn't have to mean for you, but can also mean in your grain, like the pasuk vayechlu me'avur ha'aretz b'shana hahi, and they ate from the grain of the land that year. It seems that the moral difficulty bothered Chizkuni Lod less than the Midrash. The main difference between them, however, is the tool he chooses to use to answer the quandary. Instead of the standard explanation of for the world ba'avurcha, for you, he explains ba'avurecha, in your bar, in your grain. By this, using a pshat method, meaning changing the meaning of the word, explaining the word differently, and not trying to figure out some strange moral concept. Chizkuni's answer, in my opinion, is on the one hand beautiful and original, but on the other hand not necessarily a simpler answer than the Drash interpretations. While the word ba'avur can be explained as grain, a quick look in a search engine reveals that this is not the norm. Although here it is possible, what would they do with the verses like Ule'avram heitiv ba'avura, or Vehirbeti et zaracha ba'avur Avraham avdi, or Ba'avur ze asa Hashem li b'tzeti mitzrayim? It is therefore clear that there was a need other than a purely verbal understanding that guided him, and in my opinion, it's the same moral need that we mentioned earlier. In conclusion, we saw a moral difficulty that was dealt with by using pshat and using drash, and it's up to you to decide which tool you think is more suitable for the job this time. If, like me, you enjoy learning pshat and drash, then you're more than welcome to subscribe, to pass this on to a friend, and even to press like. I am Dovi Holtz, one who loves Tanakh.